Hi there, and welcome to this month's Growth Leadership and Management Tip. Today, we're going to talk about the future of business and the power that actually sits inside of all the data that we already have. You see, being a great estate agency, we probably don't realize that we've got so many different sources of data. And if you go and have a look at that, you have this whole conversation, you've got all of the people that we get to meet in terms of the consumer base, buyers and sellers. Where do they live? What does it look like? How are we interacting with those people? And then we have this whole conversation around landlords and tenants. But at the end of the day, we tend to have them in two very different CRMs. Yet the reality of it is that if we bring all of this data together, we actually go to create this incredible data lake. And that data lake is all of this whole conversation about understanding that what actually happens and how do we really unlock the power in businesses today. This is actually potentially one of the most potent things for a franchise if they could get it right, or a network of offices. But the reality of it is that literally we are so short-term in our thinking, we're missing some of the biggest opportunities in business today. Let's think about it. One of the biggest companies in Australia has got over 50,000 properties under management. And if you think about it, 50,000 properties under management is a huge opportunity. Yet they have a sales business that is nowhere near the strength of their property management business. And you've got to ask yourself the question, why is that? And a lot of people think that ultimately it's just because all they ever do is they've got all these investment properties that they would sell. So therefore they tend to specialize in the lower section to medium section of the market. And they can never really transition their brand into going into the high-end section of a marketplace. But what we know is incredibly important is that no one's actually thinking about where do those landlords actually live. If there's over 50,000 investment properties, that must mean that there's over 50,000 landlords who go actually live somewhere. But has anyone ever actually got on the phone to ring those landlords about their principal place of residence, to go and give them an idea on what it's worth? If they've got additional equity, they could buy another investment property. They might want to make the decision to maybe trade their existing principal place of residence and to go and do something else. The secret more than ever before is that no one's actually thinking about that because there's some sort of protection mechanism. They don't want the sales team to go and have a conversation with the PM. We're in a conversation that the PM doesn't want to have the conversation because they're too busy doing the maintenance. And off the back of that, the BDM only started last week and they're still having trouble trying to call back the people that were already referred by the sales team about what was actually happening inside of the PM space. And all of this is so short-term in its thinking, and none of it actually has to do with the end customer and how do we fundamentally serve them in much more powerful ways. The secret to being incredible around what it is that you do is to start to have this broader perspective around this thing that we go to call the data lake. And what actually happens with that data lake is we bring all of the consumer information that we already have access to. That conversation is a really simple one because what we're talking about is how we actually get people really focused around where the landlords live, about what we're doing with our tenant data, all the people that inquired on properties who actually didn't proceed in managing their properties with us, because that's two leads, not only where the landlord lives, but also to their investment property that we didn't get the opportunity to actually secure the business. Then we've got all the tenants, then we've got all the landlords, then we've got all the buyers, then we've got all the sellers, then we've got all the suppliers that we get to work with inside of our firm. If we get all of that data coming together about where these people actually live, then we actually can learn how to serve markets in much more powerful ways. The thing that frustrates me as a coach is actually seeing people in this position that they continue to want to talk about how we go and acquire new data sets around cold calling and door knocking and doing all of this other stuff. When in fact over here, we have thousands, if not millions of customers with all of these data points and we're simply just doing nothing with it. The power is in the data, the power is in the relationships, the power is in understanding what you can do to bring these emerging technologies to simply unlock more powerful understandings about what we can be doing to be able to serve our customers in new and powerful ways. It's time to wake up to the power of what actually sits inside of our CRMs and learning how we can be able to serve those customers in new and better ways so we can actually get them to create an incredible experience that actually allows them to refer more customers to us. The most powerful form of business is always the work that's referred to you. Make sure that you create a customer experience that's actually word of mouth worthy.